Summer is a time for excitement, so go ahead and switch things up with a new recipe from HelloFresh. With pre-measured ingredients and easy-to-follow directions, it has never been easier to try something new. Get 14 free meals, including free shipping, with code FACE14 at hellofresh.com/FACE14.
Are there any boy bands where the lead is the most talented?
I mean, I would think NSYNC.
You think
no?
No.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake was not the lead in NSYNC. He was the side guy. He was like the third guy.
I'm sorry. What?
The lead.
You're out of your fucking mind, dude.
Yeah, I don't think you lived through it like I had to.
Are you? What do you think? Like JC Chasez?
I'm not saying popularity. I'm saying that like the structure of the group, he was not the captain of the team. He was the all-star. Was his name JC?
JC Chasez was not the lead in NSYNC. You're insane.
He was the captain of the team.
No.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
Every photo you see, he's the captain. He's the leading guy. You don't think he has leading vibes? He has leading vibes. He's not the most talented. He was the leader of that
He also doesn't
team.
have leading vibes. I mean, like, he had like a solo career, and where did that go?
Terrible. I'm saying.
I just searched pictures of NSYNC, and there are so many pictures where he is not the center guy, but Justin Timberlake is. You're out of your fucking
First
mind.
one I pulled up, he's the center guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're out of your fucking mind.
That one he's not. Okay, that one he's not. Maybe with time this changed.
You're ridiculous. This is just
This might
episode
be
60, episode 63.
Yeah.
All yours.
Well, how do you follow that up? You guys came in hot with the who was the lead of NSYNC fight, and I just stood back and let it happen because I got no dog in that hunt.
Who was the lead of NSYNC, Gavin?
Let me guess. Andrew was way off. Justin Timberlake.
Okay, maybe I was. I thought the other guy was the lead.
I'll be
Justin
honest, I don't know
Timberlake.
anyone else's name from that band.
Okay.
Although there's the other guy, who, according to Andrew, is the head of NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys were way bigger.
Were they?
For a time.
Definitely. No. Backstreet Boys were an international sensation.
You don't think NSYNC was an international sensation?
They both are.
Not to the same extent.
The coolest thing about the Backstreet Boys was getting an album from Burger King as a kid. I don't remember what the promotion was exactly, but you could get an album from a drive-thru at Burger King. It was fantastic.
Did you get
What
it?
a time. Of course I did. Great album.
I gotta say, I'm gonna step back again, and I'm gonna defer to your expertise here, Gav, because I was never into NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I didn't have the posters on the wall like you. So I obviously, as I think you're a card-carrying member of both fan clubs, I understand that you know those two entities better than I. So yeah, hats off to you, sir.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Big time fan of both. What is this? JC?
I'm just dropping it. You do a Google search of who is the lead in NSYNC. It's the top thing that comes up. I don't think I'm crazy in my take that JC was the lead of the band.
Was Timberlake like backup?
Yeah, he was like a side player. He eventually became the lead.
Hang
along with
Justin. This fucking... Hang on. Read what it says. Read that out loud.
Yeah, I'll read it out loud. Along with Justin, JC Chasez was the lead singer of NSYNC. I think the Justin thing came later, though. I think that was the thing. He was so talented, became co-lead. I don't think he was always lead, based on some of the music videos and the photos.
Why does it say I'm the only member of the band to achieve solo success?
Exactly.
Well, because that was accurate. That's just a fact that happened. That's also accurate.
But isn't that talking about Justin?
Yeah.
Well, the phrasing of that sentence is terrible then.
Along with Justin, JC Chasez was the lead singer of NSYNC.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is a terribly written thing. JC Chasez is not the only one to achieve solo success in music.
Can you say his last name a few more times? I'm really enjoying it.
Chasez?
No.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Eric has said it for you about 10 times in the last 3 minutes, but I like your pronunciation better.
No, go ahead. You say it again, Eric. I want to hear it.
It is JC Chasez.
Chasez.
That's a fancy name.
Fancy.
I also love that below that little snippet, there's a BBC article that's headlined, "What happened to NSYNC members who aren't Justin Timberlake?"
That's part of the article.
What episode is this, my friends?
63, I believe.
Yeah, it's 63. And it's gonna be a good one, boys.
I'm very excited.
Geoff's been away. in a foreign land, and I haven't really spoken to him at all since he's been back. Just been having Geoff. You've been sending us the most interesting updates without any of the information, and I honestly, I've been excited about recording all damn day.
Okay, here's what I have. I wrote down some bullet points. We can get. I have a recommended order, but I'll just read them off.
Okay.
Number one thing I want to talk about. I'll just write down what I wrote, or I'll say what I wrote. Man hands. Here's the next one. Open water. Here's the next one. Backpack. Here's the next one. This is from today. Purple nightmare. Yeah, it sure was.
It's followed you home.
The most recent one, which I sent to you guys about 2 hours ago, which was this one just says, regulation fart. And then I have a space for my queries and insights, which I don't know that we'll get to this episode, but we're recording two. Because I think you're going to a foreign land, Gavin. So we need to prepare for that. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and then whatever you want to talk about, Gavin, and whatever you want to talk about, Andrew, because it's a quorum.
God damn, I feel like I just want to listen.
I'm really excited. You texted me over a week ago at this point. Boy, do I have an ocean rescue story for you. Nothing else. And it's just has left me time to just admit, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you're being rescued. I hope. And my heart of heart, my dream is that you went on a jet ski expedition and it went horribly wrong that required rescue.
Before we hit Geoff stuff, I have a list of stuff, but I think the only thing that I kind of want to touch on is the stuff that just links us from previous episodes, and it's super quick. What I liked is that because everyone was drawing the layout of your room, Andrew, a lot of people, a lot of the comment leavers drew some very accurate stuff. But then when that episode came out, we posted the video that you took where you were just sort of 360 degrees filming around the room. And I noticed a really bizarre line of thought across so many individual comment leavers. A lot of people were blown away at how bright your room was. They were like, wow, it's so much brighter than I imagined. Oh, weird. It's really bright. And I've realized everyone has been imagining you in this dingy, dark little room as if you record every podcast in the dark. And I don't know how that sort of infiltrated their minds, but there are so many comments that are like, wow, that's just like a normal room. Like you record from some hole in the ground.
Yeah.
As if they expected it to be something other than human.
Exactly. Well, so to a certain level, I'm insulted. But on a second point, I agree my room is way too goddamn bright. I don't have like a proper curtain for my big window for what they put in. So during the day, it's so bright in here. It's terrible. Even at night. It's not great. So beyond the insult, I agree with them. My room is way too bright.
I don't think they were saying it should be darker.
No, but they're just saying, they're pointing out how bright it is. I guess your statement is that they're doing it in contrast to their expectation, where I'm just saying as a general room, my room is brighter than most bedrooms, I'd say, with the curtains down. It's an ineffective curtain.
Why'd you want to be in a dark room?
Well, I just like when you wake up in the morning, it's fucking the sun's blasting me in the face every morning. I don't like
love it.
No,
Gets me going. Gets me up.
No, I want the choice to do that. I want to go over to the curtain and blast myself. I don't want the sun just blasting me whenever it feels like.
That's totally achievable, though. Just
how would I do that?
Blackout blind or something.
Yeah, I need to do work. I need to set that up. I'm saying the blinds that came with the place are not functional in that way. I'd have to modify it.
You know who can help is Amazon.
Can they?
Yeah, you buy curtains on Amazon.
Well, no, but I have to install the curtains then. It's not like I need a curtain rod. I need to get a screwdriver. I need a ladder. We're talking several steps here.
I feel like there's very little that you can't do with a drill and just a drill, really. Just in some bits.
Yeah.
Some screwdriver bits.
You think I could do that job with a screwdriver?
Yes. A chair is a ladder. A desk is a ladder. A screwdriver, you've got to have a screwdriver in your house.
Oh, I definitely do, but I feel like I need to mount something to the wall. This is a very specific setup, these windows.
Maybe a little pilot hole. Get the drills in there. The screws.
Certainly make it easier on you.
It would. I mean, I could take a photo right now if you want. I mean, I can't. I'd have to go above the window. It's a poorly designed thing.
I'll never turn down an opportunity to get a photo from you, to be honest.
I'll turn around and take a photo. I mean, I figured you guys would fill the time. I figured you'd say literally anything. That was my cue to I'm going to need a minute. You guys fill. I
Hey,
appreciate
Gav, how's it going,
the
buddy?
quiet whistling. Now
Not
you
bad.
don't need to.
I've missed you, Geoff.
I've missed you as well. We still haven't filmed the super badass bike stunt yet, unfortunately.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I have a shitload of meetings tomorrow, unfortunately.
Oh,
What are you doing Saturday?
Saturday, let's do it.
Okay, let's
Oh,
do
that's
it.
a nice bright window.
Oh, lovely.
It's a
Oh,
very
you know what you
bright
could
window.
do? You could just you could pop that roller thing out and just put a darker one in, like a thicker one. You don't have to use any tools for that.
Could I?
Yeah, just measure the size. Look into like.
Oh,
go
I'm
to,
not
like,
good at measuring. I'm a bad measuring person. I'm
what
not
do
a
you mean?
measuring guy.
What
I'm
do you
really
mean?
bad at guessing length.
You
of
don't have to
things.
guess.
That's why you
No,
measure. You don't have to guess.
I know. I
It
don't
takes-
trust myself.
Measuring takes the guessing out.
Nah,
it's
I don't-
the anti-guess.
I
Measuring is the anti-guessing, dude. Come on.
It's a tough thing, especially when dealing with like people in other countries trying to explain things. Very difficult. I'm not good at it as far as
What, you getting
distances go.
live advice from a foreign country while you're measuring?
No, if I'm trying to like explain to somebody how, I don't know, tall something is or long, I try to think of like objects they would see.
Or
as
you could just
opposed
use the
to-
measurement. You could just just say 75 inches.
Are you trying to relate more? Are you like talking to French people in baguettes? Like what do you mean?
No. Okay, so like one of the measurements, I don't know. Peter Dinklage is somebody I've used in the past. It's like
on.
a Dinklage. Yeah, just like a Dinklage. So like I learned so Peter Dinklage is 1.2 yards. So like whenever
Stop
it's
measuring
1.2 or
people
1.3.
in yards.
No, it's just so then. Well, no, it's just okay. So now I'm a big football. I love football. Every time it's like 3rd and 1 now, in my head it's 3rd and a Dinklage, and it's just I don't know. It's a fun visual. They need to move the ball.
But no one knows exactly how tall Peter Dinklage is just off in their head. Nobody has that information.
No, but if somebody said like, "How tall is my mini fridge?" I'd assume it's about the same height as Peter Dinklage, and I don't know what the height of my fridge is, but I could say it's around the height of Peter Dinklage, and they would know because they've seen Peter Dinklage.
I would love to see a measuring tape that just measures in Dinklages.
Dinklage's is my main measurement.
That's easier than getting a tape measure. That's easier. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage, can you come over and stand under this cabinet? I wanna
But
see
if
this
they don't
fridge will
know
fit.
how long a foot is, what good is it even if I have the exact measurement?
Because it's numbers.
If I was like, how tall is your house? You'd be like, it's 1 minute bowl, a LeBron James, and The Rock.
I would say it's probably like the 3rd story of a hotel. 2 stories of a hotel, maybe. I don't know. I'd compare it to like a thing that everyone's seen.
I need to understand that in Dinklage. I'm sorry.
This is,
I don't know.
This is coming from the man who told me to put 1/8 of a teaspoon of pineapple juice in my sauce last week.
That was just me saying stuff. Not good at. I'm not good at.
I like that you then went to actually put a value to Peter Dinklage in terms of measurement,
Yeah.
and you did it in yards.
I did well because I was thinking within a football context when I was having this conversation of like, if you were gonna move the ball of Peter Dinklage, how far would it be? And it was 1.3 or 1.2 yards, I believe.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I understand the problem now. There's no easy solution for you to get blinds. It's just going to be bright for the rest of your life.
Well, no, there are tons of solutions. They just require me to do some research, and I just haven't done it yet.
You're on the
I'll
phone
look
to
into
Home
it.
Depot ordering a Dinklage of blinds.
You're working in a vaccine lab or something. Oh my
No,
god.
I mean, all I need to do is cover my eyes with a pillow. That's my technique. I just bring the pillow over the face, and we're fine. Darkens out the whole room. It's perfect.
Oh.
I can't see anything. It's comfy. I feel like I'm trapped a little bit, a little enclosed. It's great.
Oh, god damn. I did not expect to hear that today.
No, we're just talking about distances. I used to think a foot was the size of my foot. I'd use my foot to measure feet. Not an accurate representation. Although it might be.
How many Dinklages per hour does a plane fly at?
I haven't expanded beyond a football scenario, but that's a great question.
You don't know DPH?
No, I don't. I don't know Dinklage per hour. Dinklages per hour is not a measurement that I've tracked.
Speaking of planes, that was a part of a clever segue. But speaking of planes, Geoff went on a plane somewhere. Geoff, what happened when you were there?
Jeff?
What a great segue. I had a fantastic vacation is what happened. God damn. Well, let's start at the top. Man hands. Okay, so that's an insight. I went to this place in Mexico that I go.
I'm just gonna sit back.
First trip out of the States in a while, and there's this little island. It's the easternmost point of Mexico. It's called Isla Mujeres, and I go there fairly regularly. I mean, not since the pandemic, obviously, but so this is my first trip out. The girlfriend and I and two of our grown-up non-Rooster Teeth friends, a couple, all went together, and then met some other grown-up non-Rooster Teeth friends. So it was like 6 couples, anyway, so I went for a week, and it's a really cool little island. It's only about 5 miles long, and there's not really any cars on it. So when you get there, you have to take a ferry to get there. And when you get there, you rent a golf cart, and then you just drive around and swim and eat fun food. And it's just really charming and great. And drive golf carts. It's awesome. It's fun. Anyway, so they have massages on the beach, and I try to get a massage every day while I'm there because they're super cheap and they're really good massages. And
Every
you're on
day?
the beach. Yeah, one a day. Like, you go swimming in the morning, eat some lunch at the beach, go swim a little bit more, then go get knock out an hour-long massage, and then go back and get ready for dinner, right?
But surely by like day 5, you're like, okay, I've done this now.
I've done it.
Well,
yeah.
trying to get one every day doesn't mean getting one every day. I would say in the
Okay.
6 days I was there, I probably got 4.
That's still a lot.
Pretty good.
Dude, it doesn't feel like a lot. I could have used another 6 or 7. I got a lot of stress in this body, buddy. It takes those people a while to work it out. Anyway, so I've been doing this for a long time. It's like open air and it's breezy and you're like smelling the ocean and you've got the wind. It's just really relaxing. And I had something, it came up that's just never come up before in my entire life, which is we roll up on the first day and it's Emily and I both get our massages, and it's always 2 ladies. But this time it was a dude and a lady. And that's happened before too, but always I don't know if these are like unspoken rules or whatever, but the lady always massages me and the dude always massages Emily, right? I've never been massaged by a guy before in my life. And this time the guy was like, let's go. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've never had a massage by a guy before. I wonder if it's any different at all, you know? So I lay down and we get to work, and I realized that men are superior to women in every way. I melted in that man's hands. He worked out every sore muscle, every ounce of stress in my entire body with his strong masculine hands. I was a puddle. I felt safe and secure. I didn't want to leave that bed, dude. I thought about that massage all night. And then the next day I went back and I was like, where's the guy? And he wasn't there, but there was a different guy, so I got the different guy. This is my insight, I'm never getting massaged by a woman with tiny woman hands ever again for the rest of my life. Sorry, women, I'm off limits. I only want beefy, strong, sausage fingers dudes on me. It was amazing, and I recommend every dude go out and get a massage by a dude who's tougher than you immediately.
So I guess 2 things immediately for me. I've never gotten a massage in my life, but I've known this to be a thing. You want the male massager. It's more strength, more hand strength. That's just the thing I know. So it's shocking to me. Sounds like you're a real massage enthusiast that you weren't aware of this. Second thing, and most important detail, at what day did you get the massage from the guy?
I think
How many massages in were you?
It was the first massage, so it was on day 2. I didn't get a massage day 1.
So this also explains Geoff's sudden pursuit of massages every single day. I feel like it increases the demand.
Yeah.
He has
I'm still
seen
thinking
the
about
light,
it.
and he now needs it as much as he possibly could get it. That's why you're going there every day.
And I'll be honest, the second dude wasn't as good as the first dude, but he was still really good, and it was still amazing. But I still am thinking about the first guy a little bit, and I wish I could remember his name. Yeah. He rocked my world, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
I'm sure you could just ask for a firmer massage from any woman.
I've asked for firm massages. It's different. I'm telling you, there's hand size. There's like this raw. I don't know how else to describe it. I've had a million massages in my life. I've had deep tissue massages. I've had therapeutic massages. I've had all kinds of different massages. It was just different.
So are you telling me that if you went and got one this week, you got a woman masseuse, I guess that's redundant, and then you asked for like as firm as she's got, are you saying it wouldn't come close?
I don't know. I'm just saying I've never experienced massages like the 3. I got a woman the last day, so 3 of the 4 massages were men, and I've never experienced massages like the 3 that I got from men.
I think there are
Interesting.
obvious going to be exceptions to that example.
Absolutely.
But I think
I'm sure
generally
there are.
speaking, there's probably it's just the guys would have more hand strength, I'd assume.
I've had a few in my time. The same though. Always women. But I had one in Japan, and it was way too firm. She hurt me so much. I would have paid again at the end to have just gone back in time and not done it.
Yeah, it wasn't about pain. It wasn't like it was. It's hard to describe. It's not like there was just like a strength there, and I don't know how else to describe it. But I wasn't saying like the guy hurt me any more than the women do or anything. I've had some painful massages from women. It was just like just a different vibe with a dude. I don't know, but I'm into it.
Interesting.
Super into it. Yeah,
Little
I loved
revelation. Maybe I'll try it out.
I recommend you do, my friend.
Please give a scouting report back, Gavin. I'd love to. I can't. I'm too ticklish for massages. I'd love to get one. Too ticklish.
Ticklish? They're not like...
Yeah, they're not tickling you, buddy.
No, I'm super ticklish. Like, doesn't even matter. I don't trust myself. It would be a disaster.
I wonder if they would charge you more, though, because, as you've once said, you're all back. So there potentially is more back.
It would be exhausting for them, and it would be stressful for me trying not to laugh. It would be a terrible experience.
Oh, Eric says Geoff is right. Interesting.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
You're right. I've had massages from both, and I prefer male masseuse.
Yeah.
It's just it's deeper. I feel like it's deeper tissue and a firmer hold.
Deeper.
There's just something to it.
It's way deeper.
Yeah.
They're getting in there. The end.
Men just, I'll say it like this. I've learned men know how to touch men.
I'm just surprised Andrew's never got one.
Oh, no, I'm too ticklish. As I
He's
said.
never had an egg, and you're surprised he's never had a massage?
I just feel like there are places where I'm ticklish, but during a massage, they're not tickling me.
Oh, I'm super. You don't understand the level of ticklishness that I got going on over here. It is a real problem. I'm super ticklish, and I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to roll those dice because it would just be a nightmare.
Your body is just so unbalanced by the sounds of it. You got the strongest nose in the world, but the most ticklish back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just lopsided.
Ticklish everywhere.
So is your nose ticklish?
I bet you know what? If you got someone in there who knew what they were doing in the tickling game, I'd probably laugh. Yeah, it'd probably tickle.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know the nose tickling technique, but if you get a real tickling enthusiast in there that knows their way around, I'm sure they'd get me.
But that's the whole point. The masseurs and masseuses aren't gonna tickle you.
No, but it's a mental thing. It's just something about the process. I don't know. I'm super it's more of a paranoia thing too of if I don't want to risk that, what if I am ticklish in that way? Because then what do I do? It's just a terrible scenario.
All right.
Fair
Take
enough.
your word for it.
We all shop online, and we've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. Enter me in for a discount. What? You don't have a discount? You don't know anybody who hands out discounts? Sorry. Not anymore, though, because thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes or waiting for some coupon fairy to give them to you is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, which range from sites that have tech or gaming products to fashion brands or food delivery, or in my case, it was a stand-up paddleboard recently. You get the idea. Tons and tons of variety. Here's how it works. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites, and when you go to checkout, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. You wait a couple seconds, Honey searches for coupons all around the internet and probably some secret internets and maybe some space internets. Then, if it finds a working coupon, it'll apply and you will watch the prices drop. Savings. Honey saved us, I don't remember now, but it was a pretty significant amount on 2 stand-up paddleboards that we bought. And my girlfriend, she's a big Honeyer, and I was about to hit the button, and she was like, no, use Honey, remember? And I was like, oh, right. And so I did, and we saved a ton of money. And it's not just us. Honey has found its over 17 million members, more than $2 billion in savings. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It is literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. I'd never recommend something I don't use. Get honey for free at joinhoney.com/face. That's joinhoney.com/face. What is HelloFresh? Well, let me tell you. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. So you can skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. Those are the big three right there. The EFA, we call them. Easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit, because of EFA. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips with less prep, less effort, and minimal cleanup, so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes. And I don't know about you, but my life is busy to the degree that 30 minutes is about all I can spare. So it's perfect. And there's so much variety. You can choose from 50 menu and market items each week, from vegetarian meals to craft burgers to more craft. Maybe you just want to get a week's worth of craft burgers. If you're me, that's an option. But if you don't, you can get extra special gourmet options as well. There's something for everyone to enjoy. All the recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. And HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need to easily customize your order on the app within just minutes. You can easily change your delivery day, your food preferences, your plan size, or even skip a week whenever you need to. Also, this summer, HelloFresh has everything you need to get grilling. I know it's August, but the summer's not over. It's hotter than ever. And when it's hot, people want to eat sizzling meat. They have grilling bundles, they have burger packs, and surf and turf packs. It's a grilling extravaganza. Get 14 free meals, including free shipping, with code FACE14 at HelloFresh.com/FACE14. So go to HelloFresh.com/FACE14 and use code FACE14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. Better get to grilling and sizzling.
So that's man hands.
All right, that's man hands. The next one is open water. Now,
I'm really excited for this one.
This is the big one. This one and Purple Nightmare are the big ones. I think we may have to wait till next episode for Purple Nightmare, though. All right, I'm going to start this with a preface. I'm going to preface this by saying I am still reeling a little bit from how poorly I told the horse story, and have received a lot of criticism in my personal life from people about it that are more familiar with the story. And I feel a particular fear in regards to this story, because it's not just my story. I was one of 4 people that experienced this hell. So,
would you want to write it out?
No, I have notes. I apologize in advance to Emily and Joey and Tamara if I don't do the story justice. I am really sorry. It's a lot. It's a mouthful. It's a lot to figure out. And everybody, because I've heard the story repeated about 100 times over the last week, everybody has different parts that matter to them, right? And so if I don't cover the part that matters to you the most, I apologize, but it wasn't the part that mattered to me the most.
Okay, so for the sake of your storytelling, do you want us just to listen instead of ask questions?
No, you can ask questions. It's fine. Okay. Let's just do this like normal, all right?
Okay.
Now, first off, let me say, I would like to tell you, I woke up with a nightmare the night before this happened, and I had a conversation with Emily. I can't tell you what that conversation is yet, because it'll spoil the story, but I'll tell you at the end if you remind me to come back to it, okay?
It's non-linear.
It's non-linear. While we were in Mexico, we decided to go snorkeling. I will also say that I have been snorkeling quite a few times in my life, been snorkeling in the ocean a few times, been snorkeling at this very island, Isla Mujeres, before. Consider myself familiar with the snorkeling as a concept and fairly experienced in it. So previously I had snorkeled, we'd done some reefs, a reef, and we'd done like an underwater museum that they have out there that's really cool. And this time, there were a lot of advertisements to go snorkeling with whale sharks. So we started to look into it, and it seemed like this really cool opportunity. I guess once a year, whale sharks come. They typically live, a couple hundred feet below water. They're sharks, not whales, so they don't have to come up for oxygen. But they have giant mouths, but their mouths don't open. They can't have teeth, so they can only eat plankton, so they're not dangerous, right? And about once a year, they will come up at this spot in the ocean where the Gulf Coast and the Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean meet, or the oceans off Mexico. And I guess it's like a feeding frenzy for them, and there'll be hundreds out there eating at the surface, and manta rays too. And supposedly it's a really cool, unique thing, and so there were a lot of advertisements to go snorkeling with the whale sharks. And we had such a positive experience snorkeling there previously that we were like, hey, let's do that. Let's all do that. And so the whole big group of us were going to go. 2 people backed out, so it ended up just being me and Emily and our other 2 friends. The thing I liked about it is that it's like a weird thing to go snorkeling with like animals, and I was a little worried about like is this appropriate? And they were like, yeah, it's really ecologically minded. They wouldn't let us wear sunscreen at all because the sunscreen could irritate or affect the food or the whale sharks in some negative way. So we had to go out and buy like full body like wetsuit kind of deals because it was like this 1,000 degrees in the sun, and it's like a 4-hour tour, right?
Oh,
very similar to Gilligan's Island. So we get there, and this lady comes out, the lady who we bought the tour from. We're sitting right on the beach there, right in front of the boat. And she comes up and we talked to her for about 15 minutes. She gives us the rundown, and we're like, all right, let's get to it. And she goes, oh yeah, no, let me introduce you to Captain. I'm not the one that does it. I just coordinate it. And we're like, oh, okay. So then this captain comes out, and he gives us a spiel about like, he's really funny and engaging and he's really well-versed. And they explain to us that it's, we're in their territory, so we have to be respectful. And he explains like all the different scenarios where we could annoy a whale shark and how to avoid it. He's got all these little funny quips like, how like when you're eating at a picnic and flies are buzzing around while you're trying to eat your lunch, you're the flies, so be respectful. Yada, yada, yada. And it's all really good information. And we can only go in like 2 people at a time. So like, the other couple will go in, and when they come out, we'll go in because we don't want to overwhelm the whale sharks. It's all designed with being really respectful to the whale sharks and their environment, which I think is pretty cool. And so he's like, all right, you guys ready? And we're like, yeah, let's go. And then we're like, point us to the boat. And he goes, oh, no, I'm not taking you. These other guys are taking you. And at this point, I think, well, that's a little weird. I'm on my 3rd person. And so, surely at some point, I'm going to talk to the person that's going to take us out, right? So he takes us out to this. He actually just points to the boat. And we go out there, and there's these 2 dudes on it, like a captain and like a diver dude, right?
But was the first guy a captain?
He was like the head of the company, I guess. He was a captain, yeah. So anyway, these guys, we get there, we get on the boat, and it becomes apparent these guys don't speak a lot of English, and why would they? They're Hispanic and they're in Mexico, right? And so there's a bit of a language barrier at the get-go, which is fine. We make it work, no big deal. So we get in the boat, and it's it's not a big boat. It's like one of those little boats you'd see off the coast. I don't know a lot about boats, but it's got 2 little twin Yamaha 150 engines on the back. That's very important. 2 twin Yamaha 150 engines. Boy, does that become a big deal. And it's one of those boats that probably holds about 12 people. It's just seats all the way around. It's not super fast, and it's covered with like a tarp at the top, like a nice tarp. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay. By the way, I should mention, one thing that gave me pause is in the previous instructions from the first captain, who I thought was going to be taking us out, he mentioned that we were going about 50 miles off the coast in open ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. It's 50 miles into the ocean. 50 miles. And I thought, that's a lot further than I thought it would be. And he goes, yeah, it's going to take about 45 minutes to get out there. It takes about 45 minutes in these little boats to go 50 miles.
That's a fast boat.
Yeah. And like 45, 50 miles somewhere. It's like, it's not a exact science, right? It's like wherever the whale sharks are that day, but it's he said it's about 70 to 85 kilometers or so, which in my head is about 45 to 50 miles, right? I think. Anyway, it's pretty fucking far out there. So we hop in the boat, and I don't get seasick. I'm not uneasy about this. I've been whale watching before, the whole thing, but they recommend me take Dramamine for nausea, and so I'm like, fuck it, I will. Yeah, like why not? Why tempt fate? So we all take our Dramamine. Not that I think it's going to be an issue at all. Then we take off, and we start to go, and after about 15 minutes or so, I realize we're not going really fast, and I look over, and the guy is like fucking with the controls, trying to get one of the engines is pegged, and the other one is just like going back and forth, and he's trying to, and the other guy's back there kind of kicking it and looking at it, and we realize they start screwing. We slow down, and I'll say if we were going in 5th gear, like if this was a car, we're going in like 3rd gear now, and they're like speaking to each other, and I can't quite understand it. They seem agitated. The vibe starts to shift. I'll say that. the vibe, it just doesn't seem as pleasant as it was. And there is obviously a problem with one of the engines. I can still see land. We're like, I said 15 minutes out. We're like maybe 10 minutes out. I can still see land. So I'm kind of not too worried, but I'm also like, well, we can just go back. And they're like, and they kind of wave us off when we're like, do we need to, and they're like, no, that's fine. And they go back there and he's like kicking the engine and he's like working on it. And we just keep going. The other guy just goes forward with one engine while the other guy tries to fix the first engine. Eventually, he gives up and we just go forward with one engine. At this point, we're 30, 40 minutes out. And I'm like, oh, well, we've only got about 10 minutes before we'll be at 10 minutes to 20 minutes before we'll be at the whale sharks, right? But I start to notice that boats come by and they're passing us like we're sitting still. And I realize they're going way, way, way faster than us because they're in fifth gear because both of their engines work. Mm-hmm. We're going like third on one engine. And it's starting to get real bumpy in third gear. When you're going in fifth gear, you're cutting right through those waves. When you're going in third gear, you are not. We are getting kind of battered around. Like I'm starting to get a bruise on the back of my lower back from getting slammed into the back of the boat over and over again. And we're not like nauseous or anything, but it's not pleasant, right? We do that. The 45-minute ride out to the whale sharks ended up being a little over an hour and a half. By the time we roll up, I see the boats out there. We're all feeling pretty worn out. Like it's been a long hour and a half getting blasted in the sun with no sunscreen, getting jostled around, going like we're bobbing like fucking motherfuckers because we're not going that fast. We get out there and first off, I thought this was going to be this intimate experience. There's 40 boats in the water and I don't know how they're not slamming into each other because this is open fucking ocean. Like I haven't seen land in an hour at this point. We are so far out there. And I discover I'm not super cool with that. Like, I'm okay with it. Obviously, we're safe, but it's weird to be in that small of a boat that far away from something from land, right? And all these boats, and it's getting so there's all these boats like floating around, and I noticed that on every boat, 2 or 3 people are hanging off the boat just throwing up. Like I'm probably watching 20 people puke at the same time.
I like that there's no sunscreen, but you're allowed to just vomit all over.
Well, I don't think they had a choice, dude. there's no way to hold it in, right? And so the waves are fucking huge too here. And then the guy comes over and there's not even a discussion of who's getting in the water yet. He just gives Emily and I flippers, and we brought our own snorkels because we thought that'd be the safest with COVID and stuff. And so the guy goes, "Here, put these on." And so I'm like putting them on, and she's like putting hers on. And before the guy had given us the spiel, the first captain had given us a spiel. When you get in the water, just look straight down. Just look straight down. There's no whales above you. The whale sharks are going to be below you. But you also need to keep in mind where the boat is, where the diver is, and where your partner is at all times. But also don't look up, only look down. And I'm like, well, that seems complicated. So, and I'm interested to see how that's going to work in practice. So anyway, he gives us these. I'm starting to just like casually put a thing on. And then the guy screams, go now, go now. And Emily and I are like, what? And we're not even sure if it's us. And he's just pointing at us going, go now. And then he goes over and he points to him and he jumps in the water like we're supposed to do. And we're like, and the other guy's like, go now. And we're like, and so we're like putting our flippers on and we just jump into the water, right? Jump into a huge roiling ocean full of people and waves and boats. And my snorkel flies off. One of my fins flies off my foot. And so I'm like in open ocean trying to put my fucking fin back on and trying to fit my snorkel on while I'm bouncing around and like a wave will come up and I can't see anything. I can't see anybody. And then the wave will crash back down and I'll suddenly see 40 boats and 100 people. And it's fucking scary. And I'm like looking around. So I just start looking at the ground, like looking in the ocean, and all I just see is blue, just like hundreds of feet of blue and nothing. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, where are these fucking whale sharks? But then I'm like, oh, I got to look at Emily. I got to look at the guy, right? So I look up and Emily's over there. So I like try to grab her hand and she grabs mine. And then the guy's like, hi! And he's like yelling at me. And I'm like, fuck what? And I don't understand what he's saying. And he's like, and he just starts pointing. He's like, follow. And I'm like, so I just start swimming, right? And start swimming. And then he's like, get on the boat. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so like, then we're like trying to get on the fucking boat and the waves are crashing. I'm like slammed against the side of the fucking boat. And I eventually climb up the ladder. And by the time I get back on the ladder, we've been in the water for 45 seconds to a minute. Maybe I'm exhausted. Emily looks like Emily looks like she is fucking done. And we're both like, what the fuck was that? And then I just hear chatter over the radio going, no whales, no whale sharks, no whale sharks. And then we just start, and the guy's like, no sharks here. And then we just take off. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at Emily and she goes,
What?
I look at Emily and she goes, I'm not getting back in the water. And I go, yeah, I know. I will. They'll go next. They'll go next. And then we just start going and we're just leaving all these other boats behind. And that actually scares me because we're going off on our own. And all I can hear is chatter over the radio of them saying like, no whale sharks here or whatever. So like we're going to another location, right? But we're going in third gear again and we're going slow. And at this point, the dip into the terrifying dip into the open ocean and then getting slammed around and then slammed into the boat and then back up in, I'm starting to get a little seasick at this point. And we go for, I want to say another 30 or 40 minutes further out into the ocean. And eventually, I'm starting to wonder if these guys are just taking us out to dump us because there's nobody around and it's scary and there's no communication and they're I can tell these guys are getting more stressed by the boat. Oh, I should also point out, I'm starting to smell a lot. When we got into the water and we came back into the back of the boat, we're smelling a ton of gasoline. Like it's a very intense smell of gasoline at the back of the boat. And Emily and I are like, this does not feel good.
I have a question.
No
at this point in the story, am I supposed to know what the hell happened back there?
Back where? At the back of the boat?
With all like this, like go now and like get in the boat. Like, what?
No, that you don't know anything more than I do, dude.
Okay.
They told us that we go to the spot where the whale sharks are. They scream at us to jump in. We jump in, then they scream at us to get out, and then we just take off. And they're like, there were no whale sharks there. And then eventually, in that 30 minutes, boats start slamming past us again, like we're standing still. We get to another location. This time, there's about 20 boats. The whole thing happens again. They like throw the stuff at Joey and Tamara. They're like, you guys get ready. I should also point out at some point that this is supposed to be a lunch and ceviche where they prepare ceviche live in front of you and they have gourmet sandwiches and shit. Not that I'm hungry at this point, but other people are. And we get out there and it's even worse there and there's less boats there. And it's like the waves are even worse and there's just like no whale sharks. And they're like, no sharks here. We go again. And I think Tamara goes, no, that's enough. No, we're not going to another location. We're good. Just take us back. We're done. Like, we're 2.5 hours into this. We've been getting slammed left and right. I'm fucking not feeling well. Emily looks like she's feeling terribly. Joey seems fine. He owns a boat, and the other girl, Tamara, she lived on a yacht for like a sailboat for a couple of years. Not a yacht, but a sailboat for a couple of years. So like they're well-versed sea people, and Joey's fine. Tamara looks like she's not feeling great either. And so the guy's like, he kind of shrugs and is like, okay. So we turn around and we just start heading. We think back. We're looking on a compass on our phone. Like, yeah, we're headed towards land. I guess this is the way. And we just start going a little bit slower. And a little bit slower, and at some point they throw sandwiches at us, and I open mine up, and it's just 2 pieces of like white bread with like as it was described, if it was 1 slice of ham sliced on a 1, like it was like you could see through it, and there's just a shitload of mayonnaise. So the mayonnaise was a non-starter for me, right? So I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. And then I see the ceviche. It's literally a 5-gallon like Home Depot bucket just full of shrimp. And I'm like, it doesn't look appetizing either. Just open shrimp in a 5-gallon bucket. So I'm like, clearly I'm not eating on this trip. But I'm not super hungry anyway.
It's like bread and a bucket of chum.
Yeah, bread and a bucket of chum is what we're looking at. And so, and there's no Diet Coke, by the way, which really, that was the thing that pissed me off. They only had Coke and Sprite. No Diet Coke. And so I'm just trying to drink a Sprite, and I'm feeling really bad. And Emily's, I can tell, feeling really bad. And we're now 45 minutes into the trip back, and the boat keeps going slower. And I'd say about 45 minutes, I noticed that we're not really going. We just seem to be kind of floating. Well, I should go back. I should dial back to maybe about 20 minutes before this moment. We're sitting there, and I'm rocking, and then I realize I'm absolutely going to throw up. That there was no way to hold it back. And so I run over to the side of the boat and I throw up a good 5 or 6 times. Huge vomit.
And is the boat moving?
Oh, yeah. So slowly, but it is moving. And I'm like, just fucking ocean nausea vomiting, right? It's not pretty. It's a horrible sound. Oh, Henry's here. Found his... Right, buddy? Yeah, that's right. You fucked that toy up.
This story's just the best. I hope it never ends. Keep going.
Well, we got a ways to go. I turned back to look at Emily because she's like, "Are you all right?" And she sees me and she almost throws up in her mouth and turns away and goes, "I can't look at you. I can't look at you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what?" And I don't know. I just like am sitting there and I sit there for a while and Emily's just like, I can't look at you. I'm gonna throw up. I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was because I was thrown out over the ocean. After a few minutes, like maybe about 5 minutes after I calmed down, I touched my face and I realized my face is covered in puke. And Emily said later it looked like I drank a cappuccino of vomit, and it was just like I had like a cappuccino mustache of puke around, And so I'm like trying to wipe it off and use seawater. And oh boy, Henry. Give it a break on give the octopus a break. God damn. Oh yeah, now settle in, hunker down. That's good. Yeah, he's getting cozy, so he can really.
Is that different to the owl that you usually have?
Yeah, owl's in the other room. This is okay. This is puss as we call it. Little blue octopus. So at this point, I lay down and I'm like, I got to go to sleep because I'm exhausted, and I start to fall asleep just laying on the side of the boat, like just holding my tummy. And every time I wake up as I'm falling to the floor, or my head is slamming back into the side of the ocean from the waves. Right. So that's where I was for 20 minutes. Eventually I get up and then I realized that we're going really slow at some point in this. We're probably about 45 minutes into the return. And I look back there and I realize neither engine is going. And I hear the guy trying to start it. And then for the next 30 minutes, I can only say I watched two men try to get it took me a while to piece together what was happening. There was a lot of yelling. There was a lot of screaming on the mic, over the radio. I just keep hearing caliente, caliente over the radio, caliente. And I look, and then I realize, I guess the other engine, the one that was working, has overheated from excessive use. And so the guy is literally standing on the top of it, trying to push it into the ocean to submerge it to cool it down. So now we're in a situation where I think we're going to die. We're probably going to die. I haven't seen land in 3 hours. I've been beaten to hell, banged around for hours and hours. I've got no food in me. The only food available is slathered in mayonnaise and chum. And I got a half a Sprite to my name. And this guy's trying to submerge the boat to save the engine, essentially. And so they eventually work out a system where they drive for a few minutes really slowly. If we were in third gear before, we're in first gear now, which, by the way, first gear in open ocean, you don't go forward. It's like you kind of go in whatever direction the ocean tells you to go with a little bit of zeal, just a little gusto in that direction. So we're going left, we're going right, we're going back, occasionally forward. Very rarely we're certainly not going in a straight line, and we're not going anywhere, right? And every once in a while, the engine will conk out, and then it'll be too caliente, and they'll be like trying to cool it down, and then after a few minutes, they'll like, it'll get started again, and then we'll go for a few more minutes, and then it'll stop, and we're like, what is going on? How long till we get back? And the guy goes, 30 minutes. And I'm like, there's no fucking way we're going to be back in 30 minutes. We're hours away from land at this point. I don't even know that we're headed in the right fucking direction. It's brutal. And then sure enough, about 30 minutes later, two boats show up on the horizon. And I'm thinking about writing my goodbyes at this point. Like, I don't know what else to do. We're just getting slammed left and right. I'm beyond nauseous. Joey seems fine, like he's having a great day. Emily looks like she wants to die.
He's just tucking into the chum.
He's fine. He's fine. He's happy. He doesn't get seasick. He's loving life, right? Tamara's doing. I found out later it was to keep herself from vomiting. She was doing New York Times crossword puzzles on her phone, which I don't know how that kept her from vomiting, because anytime I focused on anything, it made me want to vomit. But anyway, two boats show up on the horizon, and we're like, "What's this?" And they're like, one of the boats and the guys aren't talking to us. They're in a bad mood, and we're in a bad mood. And I can tell this has been very stressful on them. Probably not as stressful as it's been on us, but maybe ignorance is bliss. I don't know how close to dead we are, right? This other boat it's another whale shark watching tour, full boat, right? It gets a little close to us, and the guy turns to us and he goes, they're gonna take you back. And we're like, oh, so we're gonna get on that boat? And he goes, yeah. And I go, how? And he goes, go now. And we go, what? And he goes, go now, get in the ocean, go now. And we're like, what? Our stuff. And he goes, don't worry about it, go now, I've got your stuff. And we're like, what? And we all dive into the ocean, and then we have to swim through these giant waves and crazy with no flippers on or anything. Just like fucking, I got my hat on, my clothes, I just fucking swim barely to get to the beach, slam against this other boat, which is way too far away. I get there, pull ourselves up, get on the boat, right? No idea what just happened, look back, and I'm like, all our stuff's on that boat, and then I see all of our shit just flying through the air from one boat to another. They're just chucking it at us, right? Just like, there goes my bag, there goes Emily's bag, there goes somebody's hat, and I realize, oh my God, my phone and my wallet are in my shoe. There go my shoes. Threw my shoes 30 feet in the air over open ocean with my phone and my fucking wallet in it. I fucking run up. They're there. We didn't lose anything. But I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it, dude. It was the most horrific thing I've ever seen. It's like just all of our shit, like clang, exploding on the ground on the boat, right? Then those guys, the boat we're on, they like sit down. We sit down for a second, then we just take off. And those guys, as far as I know, they're still there. We just left them. We just left them bobbing in the ocean, and we assaulted some other cruise. Right. So then we're on this other cruise. It becomes very apparent very quickly. Nobody on this boat speaks English either. The people on the cruise are from somewhere in Eastern Europe, and then the boat captain and stuff there. And so they're like, all the seats in the back, they communicate to us, all the seats in the back are full. You're going to have to sit up front. We're like, yeah, okay. Why? Who cares? Whatever. We're just happy to sit. So we sit up front, and then they crank this thing into fifth gear. Suddenly we're going. Nausea goes away immediately like a light switch. We start cutting through the waves. But the reason nobody wanted to sit up front is because every wave we get drenched. I'm talking torrential, like 17 5-gallon buckets of water thrown in your face all at once, which is quite refreshing after everything else. And then we just rocket back, just drenched from head to toe. But the nausea's gone. I couldn't be happier. I'm smiling from ear to ear. So much that I'm just swallowing gallons of salt water because I don't even care, because it's just slamming me in the face it's like a movie.
I can imagine you seeing like hope. You see all the things that are good in life, and you picture a nice set of man hands waiting for you. When
I'm like, I'm gonna get the biggest fucking massage. And so then we start to pull back up to Isla Mujeres, and we put two and two together. On their tour, it goes to a sandbar by the beach. The previous tour we had done this as well, where you go to this like sandbar off the coast where the water is really blue and pretty, and then people go swimming, and then so we get there and we dock. Like they throw down the anchor, and they're like, okay. They communicate, we're going to be here for about 15 minutes, go swimming, relax, then we'll cook up some fresh ceviche for you, and then we'll take you guys back to Cancun. And we're like, swimming is the last thing on earth I want to fucking do right now. B, I won't be eating again anytime soon. And C, did you say Cancun? And they're like, yeah, this charter goes to Cancun. And I'm like, no, we're here on this island. Take us to a dock on this island. And he's like, no, we don't go to a dock on this island. We dock in Cancun. And I'm like, yeah, but we're already here. And Cancun is 35 miles that way. And then when we get to Cancun, we have no way to get back. So then we'll have to figure out how to get from your dock to the ferry. And then the ferry only runs every 30 minutes. So we'll have to buy tickets. And then we'll have to take a ferry all the way back to where we are right now. So if you could just take us to a dock. And the guy's like, no, you can swim. And then we'll take you back to Cancun. So I'm like, fuck this and fuck you. I look at the guys and I'm like, we're swimming in. And they're like, what? And I look, it looks like I can stand. I grab all of our stuff. I give Joey the rest of it because the girls aren't tall enough. They jump in the water. I jump in the water with all the stuff on my head, like all of our bags and shoes and everything on our head.
Wait, how far out are you?
I mean, like a couple hundred, maybe 300 feet, maybe. Okay. It's a sandbar. It's a long walk, but I hit the water and I feel a sting on my finger as I hit the water. And I'm like getting off the stairs, off the boat. And I'm like, fuck. But I can't see anything because my hand is, my hands are above my head. Like I'm going down to the watering hole to fill up the watering can. And then I'm walking it back up to the village, right? On top of my head with all of our shit. and the water's just about to my chin, and Joey's a little bit taller than me, so about the same. The girls have to swim, and we very, very slowly walk onto the beach holding everything amidst all of these like sunbathers and people playing beach volleyball and jet skis, and it's
Where
like
do they think you came from?
yeah, and we look like refugees, just coming in from open ocean, like a long walk in, and we get to the beach, and I fucking put that stuff on the ground for a second, and I'm like, oh my God, and I look at my hand, and my hand is covered in blood, and I'm like, what the fuck? My left finger, I see on my left finger where on my pinky finger, the area like to the left of the nail, I guess it got caught on the stairs and it's just ripped a gash open where like a giant chunk of my flesh is pulled open and it's just shooting blood out. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, I'm not getting stitches or anything, right? And so I just like, I eventually get a Band-Aid and put it on, and then I have to deal with that for the rest of the trip. But then we just fucking take a cab from that point. We just walk up to a cab, take a cab back to the dock, get in our golf cart, and go home. Now, the thing that I didn't mention, that I couldn't tell you, is I woke up that night, the morning of that trip at 3 a.m. with a nightmare. And Emily happened to wake up too. And she goes, what's wrong? And I go, I have a nightmare. I had a nightmare. It was really serious. And she goes, well, what was your nightmare? And I go, I dreamed we were out on the boat and we got stuck like open water and there was nobody to rescue us. And we were just floating there forever. And then eventually we died. And she's like, well, that's not going to happen. Go back to bed.
So there was this like underlying tension. Did you ever like give each other little looks?
Yeah, the whole trip, the whole time. Yeah, the whole time.
Nobody wanted to mention it.
Yeah. So I think I did it okay there. I hope I covered that properly. Oh, and I don't know if it's been apparent at any point, but at no point in this it was over 6 hours, 7 hours, did I see a whale shark.
I would love to see like the GPS path on a map of where the hell you went. I'd love to know like at what point was the GPS tracking a phone in a shoe flying 30 feet between two.
Oh my God, dude. There was about an hour where I thought we were going to die and about 30 minutes in the middle of that where I wanted it. I was just so nauseous and unhappy and just beat to hell from the sun and just and starving but nauseous and
you
just
paid to do
bruised.
That.
Yeah, we didn't get a refund. They wouldn't give us a refund.
What a disaster.
How many days in was that to your trip?
That was day 3 of 7, I think, or 6.
Okay, so nice in the middle.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a bonding experience, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all, I mean, we bonded over tragedy. Dude, I'm telling you, having a guy scream, go now, when you are not ready to get in open ocean and swim 30 feet to another boat and not sure what's supposed to happen when you get there is not a fun experience.
I just don't understand how whenever there are instructions for you to like get in the sea or get in the boat or switch boats, why was it always so frantic?
We don't know. I don't know.
Don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. But I'll tell you this, we've all agreed, nobody was up for it by the end of this trip because we were exhausted, but we're all getting go now tattoos. Because that's all we said to each other for the rest of the trip. Go now. Anytime, anything. You want to go get dinner? Go now. Because it was, I will hear that on my deathbed. Go now. I'll never forget that those two men screaming that those 2 times.
From the way that they were screaming that, I was half expecting like an out of control boat with no brakes just coming hurtling towards you, and he was like, jump out the way of it.
I'm starting to wonder. It's like, what was the boat gonna catch fire any second? Like, were we like as we were like fucking speeding away? I kept waiting to see if there was like a little mushroom cloud behind me, you know. I don't know if they were just like, the guys were just stressed the fuck out because they were also 40 or 50 miles out into open ocean with a boat that didn't work and they didn't know how to get back or what, and they couldn't fix it. But God fucking damn it, dude. That was not the place to be. And it was not a fun experience. And
not the place to be for the whale sharks, apparently, either.
No.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad I didn't see him because it felt gross when we were out there. There's like a ton of people in the water. There's a million boats and people are throwing up left and right. And I was like, man, if I was a whale shark, I wouldn't come within 1,000 miles of this shit, you know?
So how long were you in the water total?
Well, I was in the water for about a minute, going from one end of the boat to the other, while the guy screamed, "No sharks here! No sharks here!" and then I was in the water for the daring mid-ocean rescue, maybe 90 seconds to maybe take 90 seconds.
So the rescue was longer than the whale shark experience.
Yes, the rescue was longer than the whale shark experience, and there wasn't a whale shark experience for Joey and Tamara. They never got in the water, so their experience was only the rescue experience. And then the 45 minutes of just having somebody spray a garden hose in your face on the way home.
Oh, it sounds so miserable.
It's terrible.
Oh, that's horrendous.
A great Geoff vacation. What a
yeah. Yeah, they're rarely boring. And I realize we're at right about an hour. That was only the first two of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. So let me hit you up with backpack real fast. This is a quick one. We're coming home from Mexico, trip home, all kinds of fucked up. Global entry isn't working right. Mobile passport isn't working right. I get it. It's like COVID issues, right? But so it was kind of a stressful trip home. You know what it's like coming in, going through immigration, all that stuff. We finally get there. We land in Dallas. We land in, Gavin, we land in D24, and I got to go to B7 or something, right?
Get some Skyrail.
So it's like 5 stops on the Skyrail. So we get up. Emily and I are both exhausted. We just missed the Skyrail. She's like, I'm going to go sit on that bench and wait for the next one. So she goes over and sits on the bench. I'm like, fuck it. I'll go sit next to her. I go sit next to her too. Immediately the thing shows up. So we walk over, get on it, go 1 stop, 2 stops, 3 stops, 4th stop, 5th stop. We get off. I go to get up. I go to grab my bag. I don't have a bag. And where the fuck is my backpack? Oh my God. Did I leave it on the park bench? It's the only thing that makes sense. So I look at Emily. We have 17 minutes for our flight boards. I'm like, I got to go back. I just run out of the Skytram across the hallway to the other one, hop on the other one, go the 5 slowest, scariest stops back, bolt out of that thing. My backpack's just sitting there waiting for me, completely and totally ignored by everybody else on the airport. I cannot believe it. I got it back. It had my driver's license in it. It had my wallet. It had all of my money. It had my laptop. It had my passport. It had my phone. It had everything in it.
So where was this? Like right by the was it Skylink? Right by there, or was it like downstairs somewhere?
No, upstairs in the Skylink. I think it's the only thing that saved me is no security or anybody's ever fucking around in the Skylink, right? Because nobody's ever in there for very long. You're standing there for 30 seconds. So there's there's never a chance for people to mill around and notice it. So I think that was the only thing that saved it. Yeah, it was like to me like maybe 12 minutes to get back, and it was there. And that's the end of my vacation.
I'm blown away that was still there. A loose backpack in an airport doesn't last long.
No, it does not. But the gods were smiling on me that day.
The joy of your vacation wasn't the events that happened, it's the things that didn't and the tragedy of the other experiences. That's the only joy. Outside of man hands, that sounds like it was a great time.
Oh,
but beyond that, you're just avoiding tragedy. Or is the highlight of your vacation?
Oh, I never want to go anywhere with you. Oh
no,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. How the fuck did that happen, dude? How did I get an hour? I have 50 miles in the ocean on a tiny little like Gilligan's Island. Like the skipper's boat in Gilligan's Island is massive compared to this dinky little thing we were on, and we were out there for fucking floating around for like 7 hours when it was all said and done.
It's a terrifying experience. I've been out on a pretty small boat, far enough away that you can't see any land, where like your phone's not working, there's no signal. It's scary. Because you realize not a lot of stuff has to go wrong, and you're in serious, like life-threatening trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing has to go wrong: a hole. That's it.
How long would you have had to have spent out there for you to eat the ham and mayo sandwich?
Dude, I don't think I could have ever eaten again. I have never experienced nausea like that. And I'm not a nauseous. I realize I just got nauseous on roller coasters like 3 weeks ago in Florida or a month ago in Florida, but that had way more to do with like particular stresses in my life and the trip than the roller coaster, I think. But I wouldn't say I have like an iron stomach by any means, but I don't get nauseous. I don't get seasick. And I have never in my life experienced discomfort like that. I would do just about anything to never feel that way again.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, real relaxing vacation. Came back totally recharged and ready to retackle life.
I would have said, based on our last recordings, that you needed the vacation. I don't think you needed that vacation.
I also don't think I needed that vacation. Or at least not that portion of it. And, dude, we're not going to get into it now because we're about to end this fucker, but we'll start up I'm going to get a drink and then we'll start it up. And then I'll tell you all the other shit I have happened today.
I can't wait.
Just today.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's get straight to the next one.
All right, this has been a face production. Thanks for fucking your face for the last hour. Fuck you next week.
I feel like in this recording, Andrew and I were the first engine that broke down, and Geoff was the one that had to do all the work.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
It's amazing.
Oh my god. Why didn't they turn around? We knew there was a problem 10 minutes into this 7-hour hell journey. Why didn't they turn around?
I just keep thinking about what was happening in my life while you were experiencing that. Like, was I just preheating a pizza? Like, what mundane, uneventful thing? And then just cut to a guy yelling at you, go now, go, go, go. Go now.
Oh my
I was
god,
probably
dude.
scratching my ass watching a movie.
Oh, by the way, I feel like we should mention we do have a YouTube channel now, and all these are on YouTube if you ever want to listen on YouTube, as everybody loves to do, to audio podcasts. But we also put the Break Show up there. So if you ever wanted to watch the Break Show and you couldn't figure out how to navigate the Rooster Teeth site, you can do it on YouTube.
Are we putting the old episodes up?
I don't know. I guess at some point we should.
I think we
don't know. Yeah. They're doing pretty well. But I've had a lot of people ask me if it's the official channel or if it's like somebody ripping us off. And no, nobody wants to rip us off. It is us. We're ripping ourselves off.
All right. See you next time.
All right. Love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.